Okay, today we're going to solve systems using substitution. So we're basically doing the same thing that we're doing with graphing, except for now we're going to do it algebraically. We're not going to graph it. So substitution is exactly what it sounds like. You're substituting, whoops, my pencil isn't ready. You are substituting some numbers in for a variable. Okay, so when you look at your two equations, here's one, here's the second one, you pick the one that has a variable that's already solved. This one, they're both solved. So this one, it's y equals, this one, it's y equals, so it doesn't really matter which one you pick. I'm going to pick this one down here. So it says y equals x plus 7. So that means that the y up here really equals x plus 7, so you can plug it in. Technically, you could have taken this one and plugged it down here. It doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer. I don't care how you do it. Okay, so we have x, so instead of y, we're going to do x plus 7 equals negative 4x plus 8. So this part right here stayed the same, and we just plug this y, this x plus 7 in for y. Now we have to solve for x. Okay, now these problems are going to take a few minutes, and you have to remember how to solve equations. So if you don't remember, you're going to have to review that. So we have variables on both sides. Okay, so you can either move the variables on one side or the numbers. It doesn't matter. Let's start with moving our 4x to this side over here. Remember, if we're moving it across the equal sign, you have to change the sign. So this is really a 1x. So this becomes 5x plus 7 equals 8, because this canceled out. So now we are still trying to get x by itself. So now we subtract 7, and we get 5x equals 1. Remember, only like terms can be added and subtracted. Now we divide by 5. X equals 1/5, and you can change it to a decimal if you would like. It's totally up to you. So x equals 0.2. Because what you're going to have to do is you have to come up with a point, an x and a y, just like when we graphed. Okay, so now x equals negative 2. Now we're going to plug, negative 2, 0.2, it into either one of the equations. I would just always pick the easier one. This one's easier to plug in than that one. It doesn't matter though. So y equals 0.2 plus 7. So y equals 7.2. So your coordinate is 0.2, 7.2. If you want to leave those as fractions, I'm fine with that as well. Okay, so 0.2, that's your answer. That's where, if you were to graph these, that's where they would cross. Okay, but the reason why you can't graph them is it'd be hard to know it was 0.2. Okay, so when we come here to number 2, thank you. Okay. When we come here to number 2, we have y equals 2x, and then we have 7x minus y equals 15. So right away you see that this one is y is solved already. So that's what you're going to want to use. Okay, so you're going to want to take the 2x and plug it in for this y, because this already solved. Okay, so 7x minus, and since this is not a y anymore, it's now 2x equals 15. So you got to figure out, how am I going to solve this? Well, I have 7x minus 2x. It's all on the same side of the equal sign, so that just becomes 5x equals 15. Divide by 5. Okay, x equals 3. I want to make sure that's what I got when I did it. Yeah, so now x equals 3. Okay, so that's one of our numbers. Then we have to take it and plug it back in. You can plug it into either one. I would just plug it into the easier one to find out what y is. Y equals 2 times 3. So y equals 6. So our coordinate, our coordinate is 3, 6. So if you were to graph those, that's where they would cross at the 0.36. Okay? Okay, we're just going to do some more examples here. Okay, again, they're both solved for, so it doesn't matter. You can put either one in. So I'm just going to put this in for this y. So we have x plus 1 equals 2x minus 1. Okay, so then again we have to get x by itself. So we want to combine our x's. Since we have to go to the other side of the equal sign, you have to change your sign. So remember, this is a 1. So 1x minus 2x is negative 1x plus 1 equals negative 1. Now we need to get our constants together. So negative 1x equals negative 2. Okay. So then I divide by negative 1. Whoops, negative 1. So x equals positive 2. And then again, we're just going to plug it back in. Plug it back into the easier one. I don't care. It doesn't matter which one you plug it into. Y equals 2 plus 1. So y equals 3. So your answer would be 2, 3. That would be your point. Okay? All right? Now on this next one, we got to do a little bit more work. Okay? Because neither of them are solved for y or x. Okay, if they're solved for x, you can plug in x as well. Okay, so you have to pick which one would be the easiest to solve. So when you look at them, this has a 3y, this has a 2x, but if you look at this one doesn't have anything in front of the y. So this one would actually be easiest to solve. Okay, so if we want to solve for y, all we have to do is add this 6x over. And since you can't add those together, it's just y equals 6x minus 7. So that becomes the new problem. So here's an equation and there's an equation. It's solved for already. I mean, the y is equal to this, so then we plug it in. So this one we're going to have to use the distributive property. Okay, so we're going to have to go way back here. So 3, and then remember you put it in parentheses, 6x, what was it, minus 7. Plus 2x equals 4. So this one has a few more steps to it. So you have to use the distributive property. So 18x minus 21 plus 2x equals 4. Use that. Your assignments aren't real long, so you show all your work. So since this 18x and this 2x are on the same side of the equal sign, you just combine them. 20x minus 21 equals 4. Now I got to get the 21 over, so I change my sign. So 20x equals 25. Divide by 20. Again, use your calculator. It can be a decimal. I'm fine with that. 1.25 is what that's going to be. 1 1/4. Okay. Now we have our x. So we have to plug it back in. Again, plug it in for the easier one, which is this one. So y equals 6 times 1.25 minus 7. If you put that in your calculator, you're going to get y equals 0.5. So your answer is going to be 1.25 and 0.5. That's your point on the graph. If you were to graph it, that's where they would cross. Okay? So some of these you got to do quite a bit of work, but just slow down and remember all your rules. Okay, we'll do one more. Again, when you look at this one, the y is already solved for in this one. Okay, so you just take this and plug it in for the y. You're going to have to do distributive property again, but that's okay. Okay, so we have 6 times, instead of y, it's now negative 3 plus 2x plus 8x. Oops, I think that's supposed to be equals 28. Let me look at my notes real quick. Oh, this should be an equal sign right here. Equals 28. Let me erase this real quick. Okay. Equals, there we go. Equals 28. So again, we have to use the distributive property. We have to take that 6 to everything. So negative 18 plus 12x plus 8x, that distributive property only goes to what's inside the parentheses. Okay, equals 28. So now we have to combine like terms, which are not those two. Combine these. Forget that I underlined that one. So negative 18 plus 20x equals 28. And then we have to get this negative 18 to the other side. Remember, when you take them to the other side equal sign, you do the opposite. So we add 18. We add 18. So 20x equals, what is that? 8 and 8 is 16. 46. Okay, so 46 equals 20x. Divide by 20. X equals 2.3. If you put that in your calculator, you should get 2.3. And then we can plug that x again back up. I would just do it in the easier one. So y equals negative 3 plus 2 times 2.3. Okay, when you put that all in your calculator, you're going to get 1.6. Okay, so the point is 2.3 comma 1.6. Remember, your x always goes first. Your x is always first when you write that, okay? And that is it.